From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Well, La Nina is back, and it is taking shape in the Pacific Ocean. Now, La Nina is a global weather pattern that will help steer storms and influence temperatures across the U.S. into next year. NOAA's Climate Prediction Center said on Thursday that La Nina conditions emerged in September, as indicated by the expansion of below-average sea surface temperatures across the central and eastern equatorial Pacific. Now, those conditions are likely to continue into the start of 2026. La Nina is a recurring climate pattern that develops when ocean water near the equator in the central and eastern Pacific becomes cooler than the historical average. It's the counterpart to El Niño, which occurs when those waters are warmer than average. Now, these shifts in ocean temperatures can alter the jet stream, the fast-moving river of air that circles the planet, and, in turn, influence global weather patterns. Across the northern hemisphere, the effects are most noticeable in winter, shaping where cold air, snow, and rain are likely to occur in the U.S. So, what does La Nina mean for the winter forecast? Well, AccuWeather recently released its U.S. winter forecast, and it points to La Nina as one of the key drivers of the upcoming season. AccuWeather's lead long-range forecaster, Paul Pastelok, said that La Nina conditions will likely affect snow, rain, and temperature trends nationwide, but he emphasized that this year's La Nina appears to be weak, which leaves room for other oceanic factors to influence the forecast. Now, one of those factors is a marine heat wave spanning much of the northern Pacific. He said, those waters off the west coast and extending farther out are very, very important going into our winter forecast this year. He added that there have not been many winter seasons in recent decades that have had a similar setup across such a vast area of the ocean. Meteorological winter begins December 1st. The Appalachian Trail is one of the ultimate endurance tests for hikers, a 2,200-mile-long journey that winds through 14 states from northern Georgia to central Maine. Completing it requires careful planning, months of trekking over rugged terrain, and enduring extreme weather. Well, none of that stopped Betty Kellenberger, who completed the trail at the age of 80. In an article online at thetrek.co, Kellenberger made history on September 12th by becoming the oldest woman to complete a thru hike of the Appalachian Trail. The women's age record previously belonged to Linda Vanderloop, who finished the trail last year at age 74. Kellenberger's journey started in 2022, hiking with trail partner and U.S. Navy veteran Joe Cox, but injury and illness put a halt to their hiking goals. After Cox passed away in 2023, Kellenberger rededicated herself to do a thru hike in honor and memory of Joe Cox. After recovering from knee surgery, she started anew in August of 2024, and she trekked as far as Damascus, Virginia, before Hurricane Helene halted her journey once more. Now, typically, a thru hike must be completed in a 12-month period to be official. But after Helene left a path of destruction to the southern portion of the trail, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy folks said that once it was clear to hike, anybody could pick up again in 2025 with their mileage carrying over from the previous year. After the ATC's announcement, Kellenberger returned to Harper's Ferry and hiked north as far as she could before it got too cold to continue. She took a break over winter, having finished everything between Damascus and the Massachusetts-Vermont border, leaving just the two ends to complete. She returned in March to finish what she'd started. On September 12th, she reached the summit of Mount Katahdin in Maine, the northernmost point of the Appalachian Trail, marking the end of her journey and a new entry in the record books. Kellenberger said, "When I finished up this year, I had already hiked much of the trail twice." She added that it was never about setting the record for the oldest thru hiking woman. The age record was incidental, she said. In fact, I was nearly done before people started asking my age and suggesting I could be breaking the record. Congrats, Betty. Your journey is truly inspirational. That's all for now. You can find more regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe. I'll be back on Monday with more from AccuWeather.